Have you ever wondered why the presence of some women fades from a man's memory the very moment the door closes behind them, while the presence of others continues to linger in his space, in his thoughts, in the very air of his apartment, even days and weeks later? Why does one woman leave behind nothing but an emptiness and a cold indentation on the sheets, while another leaves an invisible, yet palpable wake? A subtle yet strong thread that continues to pull toward her, causing his subconscious to return again and again to her image, to her voice, to the feeling he experienced when he was with her? This isn't magic in the conventional sense of the word. It isn't witchcraft or some cheap trick from a glossy magazine advising you to accidentally leave an earring or a lipstick. Such tactics operate on a conscious level and often provoke only irritation, because their anxious motives are detected instantly. We are talking about psychology, a profound, almost mystical psychology, the kind Carl Jung wrote about while studying the most hidden corners of the human soul. He was convinced that the strongest, most unbreakable bonds are not forged with words, promises, or even actions. They are forged on a silent, invisible level, the level of symbols, the level of the unconscious. And today, we will talk about one of the most powerful symbols a woman can leave in a man's world, about that very forgotten item mentioned in the title. But we will explore this topic in a way you don't expect. We are going to dig much deeper. You might be thinking of the cliché, a scarf on a chair, a lipstick stain on a cup. Conventional wisdom says, leave something behind so he'll remember you. But Jung would tell you that this is a surface-level view, an attempt to manipulate the conscious mind. Whereas true power, genuine influence, lies in a dialogue with the unconscious. An item left out of fear of being forgotten, out of an anxious desire to be remembered, carries an energy of neediness. It literally screams, "Don't forget me. Think of me. I'm afraid of disappearing from your life." Such an item becomes not an anchor of attraction, but an anchor of obligation. It feels heavy, it irritates, and a man instinctively wants to get rid of it because it reminds him not of a wonderful woman, but of her hidden anxiety, of her dependence on his attention. It is not an invitation, but a demand. But there is a completely different approach. There is an item left not out of fear, but out of fullness, not out of need, but out of self-sufficiency. An item that becomes not just an object, but what Jung would call a symbolic bridge, a portal into the woman's world, a small embassy of her soul in his territory. When such an item remains in his space, it begins to live its own quiet, independent life. It doesn't demand anything, it simply exists. And it is this silent, yet charged presence that triggers a powerful process in his subconscious, making him think not just about you, but about who he becomes when he's with you. He begins to miss not your physical body, but your energetic field, the atmosphere you create simply by existing. Are you ready to find out what this item is, and more importantly, from what inner state you need to forget it so that it transforms from a simple object into a powerful artifact of your presence? Then listen closely, because we're about to enter a realm where psychology meets art, and strategy gives way to genuine feminine power. Asterisk. Chapter 1, not an item, but a conduit of energy, the alchemy of presence. Asterisk. Let's make this absolutely clear once and for all. We're not talking about a material object in the usual sense. We're talking about a vessel, a conduit. Jung, like the ancient alchemists, believed that matter and spirit are inseparably connected. Objects in the external world can become carriers of our internal states. Like a sponge, they soak up our energy, our thoughts, our sense of self. When you touch a book, you leave behind not just your fingerprints, but also the imprint of your mood. When you wear a piece of jewelry, over time it becomes part of your aura, your talisman. Picture two women. The first one arrives at a man's home, her whole being filled with tense anticipation. She laughs a little too loudly, looks at him with a hopeful, almost pleading gaze, constantly seeking reassurance that she is attractive. All her energy is focused on one thing: to be liked, to hold on, to win his attention. She lives in a state of lack, and her unconscious projects this into the space around her. When she accidentally leaves her lip gloss behind, that small tube becomes the physical embodiment of her anxiety. It sits on his table, and instead of giving off a cherry scent, it radiates the smell of desperation. The male unconscious, which Jung compared to a sensitive seismograph, instantly picks up on this vibration. He might not consciously realize it, but he senses the lack of authenticity, the pressure, the attempt at manipulation. His instinctive reaction is to reject it, to shut down, to distance himself, to get this irritant out of his sight and out of his mind. Now, picture another woman. She comes from a place of wholeness. Jung called this state the self, the point of inner harmony where a person is connected to their true self, where they aren't searching outside for what they feel is missing inside. A woman like this isn't looking for a savior or for validation from a man. She is already complete. She is her own separate, self-sufficient universe, with her own stars, planets, and laws of gravity. Her presence doesn't take, it gives. Her energy doesn't drain you, it restores you. She's here, in this moment, because she's genuinely interested in this conversation, this moment, this person, not because she's afraid of being alone. And when a woman like this leaves something behind, it's not a reminder, it's an extension of her aura. It carries the energy of her calm, her confidence, her mystery, her inner stillness. It becomes the physical embodiment of the harmony and completeness he felt when he was with her. Picture this: he comes home after she's gone. The apartment is quiet, but the air feels different, heavier, more electric. His eyes land on a small, elegant leather-bound notebook she accidentally left on the coffee table. He picks it up. The cover is smooth and cool to the touch. The pages are thick, carrying the scent of paper and the faintest trace of her perfume. He doesn't open it. That would be crossing a line, and with a woman like her, you don't want to cross boundaries. You want to respect them. He just holds it, and in that moment, he's not just holding a notebook. He's holding a piece of her world, a world with order, with thoughts, with depth, a world that exists on its own, that was here before him and will remain after. This item doesn't shout, "I was here." It quietly whispers, "My world has touched yours." And this soft whisper is louder than any confession. It sets in motion a process that Jung would call the projection of the anima. The anima is the unconscious, often idealized feminine image within every man's soul. She is his inner muse, his guide to the world of feelings and intuition. When he looks at this item, he projects onto it not just the memory of a real, flesh-and-blood woman, but the archetypal image of femininity that she awakened in him: calm, wisdom, mystery, self-sufficiency. That's why he starts thinking about her, not because the item is an annoying reminder, but because it has become a catalyst for his own deep inner processes. It has activated his anima. He starts to miss not the woman who was with him yesterday, but the state of elevated, meaningful masculinity he experienced in her presence. He misses himself, the best version of himself that she reflected back to him like a clear mirror. So, the first and most important rule is, the value of the item is determined not by its price, but by the value of the inner state from which it was left. Asterisk, asterisk. Before you think about what to leave behind, ask yourself, who am I when I enter his space? Am I coming as a beggar or as a giver, as a half seeking its complement or as a whole universe ready to meet another? The answer to this question will determine the magic of the forgotten item. Asterisk, asterisk. Chapter 2. The Three Qualities of a Magical Artifact. The Language of Symbols. Asterisk, asterisk. Not just any item, even if left behind from a place of wholeness, will work with the same effectiveness. The unconscious doesn't speak the language of words, but the language of symbols, and the item must be the right, powerful symbol. It must have three key qualities that transform it from an ordinary object into an artifact. Asterisk, asterisk. Quality 1. It must be an authentic part of your world, a key to your universe. Asterisk, asterisk. It can't be something you bought just for this purpose. It can't be an item meant to create a fake, enhanced image. If you never read poetry, don't leave behind a volume of Plath. The lack of authenticity will show through every touch of the book. If you don't draw, don't leave an elegant pencil behind. A man's unconscious, just like yours, can't be fooled. It senses when there's a mismatch between the symbol and its owner. An authentic item is a natural extension of you. It's a key that unlocks the door to your real, not made-up, life. It could be a book you're actually reading, not a flashy bestseller with a loud cover, but something that truly reflects the depth of your real interests. Maybe it's a philosophy book that helps you make sense of the world, a biography of an artist who inspires you, or even a rare novel in a foreign language. By leaving it behind, you're not just leaving an object, you're offering an invitation into your intellectual and spiritual world. You're saying without words, "This is what I think about when I'm alone." An item from your hobby or passion, a small skein of unique yarn if you knit sweaters that warm not just the body but the soul, a rare paintbrush with a dried tip if you paint, a flute mouthpiece if you play music. These aren't just things. They are symbols of your passion, of a life that is vibrant and full beyond your relationship with him. This sends an incredibly powerful and attractive message. I have my own world, and it's beautiful. It's complete. It's interesting. This doesn't spark jealousy, but admiration. An elegant and practical accessory that reflects your character. Not a flashy piece of jewelry that's too personal and can come across as staking a claim, but something more understated. For example, a beautiful fountain pen you use to jot down notes in your journal, or that very same leather-bound journal with the last page unevenly torn out. These items reflect your composure, your ability to organize your thoughts, your connection to the real world. They show that you're not just daydreaming, but are firmly grounded. Such an item becomes a true mystery to a man. It tells him more about you than hours of shallow conversation ever could. It reveals to him your hidden sides, your depth, your passion. It quietly proves that you are not just a beautiful woman, not just a function or a role, but a complete, multidimensional person. And this sparks not just a passing interest, but a deep, lasting respect. Asterisk, asterisk. Quality 2. It must be understated and beautiful. The principle of subtlety. Asterisk, asterisk. A magical artifact should never clutter a man's space or cause him any inconvenience. It should fit naturally into his decor and even enhance it, bringing a hint of your energy. A forgotten, bulky gym bag is not magic. It's just another chore that needs to be dealt with. But a small, elegant item that hardly takes up any space, yet draws attention with its shape or texture, that's what you want. It should be quiet and understated. It shouldn't loudly announce your presence from the most noticeable place. Its strength is in its subtlety. It should be discovered by accident, in a private moment when he's alone. Picture him straightening up his desk and suddenly coming across your elegant fountain pen beneath a pile of his business papers. Or he opens a book you both talked about, and there he finds your delicate silk bookmark. This moment of personal, intimate, An unexpected discovery is much more powerful than something obviously left on a pillow. Aesthetic and pleasing to the senses. The item should be attractive both visually and to the touch. Men, just like women, are highly sensitive to beauty and harmony, even if they don't say so. A beautiful texture, smooth wood, cool metal, soft leather, a pleasing color, an elegant shape. All of this works on a subconscious level, creating a strong association between you and harmony. Beauty and order don't force someone to act. It shouldn't require him to do something right away. A forgotten phone or set of keys is a disaster that demands an urgent call and a trip back. That's just hustle and stress. But a forgotten book, a bookmark, or a mouthpiece can sit there for weeks, patiently waiting while quietly and subtly working on his subconscious. It doesn't create a problem that needs to be fixed. It creates an atmosphere to exist in. This unassuming quality is a key part of it. It represents your own lack of demands in the relationship. You don't cling. You don't smother him with your love. You don't require constant attention and updates. You give him air, space, and freedom. And paradoxically, that's exactly what makes him want to be closer to you, because with you, he doesn't lose himself. He finds himself. Asterisk, asterisk. Quality 3. It must be forgotten at the boundary between the conscious and the unconscious. The art of synchronicity. Asterisk, asterisk. This is the most subtle, most difficult, and most important point that separates true artistry from cheap manipulation. Jung introduced the concept of synchronicity into psychology, a meaningful coincidence where events in the external and internal worlds align, not through cause and effect, but through shared meaning. To intentionally forget something with cold calculation is manipulation. Your conscious mind sets a goal and you carry it out. But to become so whole, so immersed in your own life and in the present moment that you truly might forget something, that is an art. It's a state where your consciousness doesn't cling to things because your value isn't tied to them, and your wise unconscious, yourself, creates that very synchronicity. You're not thinking, okay, now I'll discreetly leave this book on the shelf so he'll think of me later. Instead, you are completely present in the moment, engaged in conversation with him. You're absorbed in the discussion. You're enjoying his company. You're living, not playing a part. You leave, filled with the emotions of the encounter, not with tactical plans for the future. And only later, when you're at home unpacking your bag, do you realize with a faint smile, oh, I left my favorite book of Japanese poetry at his place. There's no anxiety in this. There's no calculation. There's a gentle irony and a deep trust in the world. This state isn't achieved overnight. It's the result of inner work, of practicing self-sufficiency. Fill your life to the brim. Have interests, goals, and friends. Your life shouldn't revolve around him like a planet around the sun. You should be the sun, with your own planets orbiting around you. Learn to be alone and enjoy it. Relish your own company. Read, take walks, go to the movies by yourself. Solitude by choice, not out of desperation, is a source of tremendous inner strength and independence. Practice mindfulness. Be present in the moment. Don't let your thoughts race ahead. Don't make plans about how to keep him or tie him down. Just be. When you reach this state, your unconscious will guide you on what to do and how to do it. Maybe you'll genuinely leave an elegant glove behind in a hurry, or in the middle of an engaging conversation, you'll forget your notebook on the table. It will happen naturally, effortlessly, without any stress. And it's this very naturalness that will ensure the item carries an energy of authenticity, not calculation. It will become an act of synchronicity, a sign from the universe to both him and you that your worlds didn't just cross paths, but found a meaningful, beautiful continuation in each other. Chapter 3: His Journey. The 5 stages of unconscious attraction. So, the item has been left behind. The right item, coming from the right state of being. What's happening in his inner world while you're going about your life? His subconscious, guided by this quiet artifact, sets off on a journey made up of 5 invisible stages. Stage 1: Discovery. Just a fact. He finds the item. The first thought is purely informational on a conscious level. Oh, she forgot her book. He puts it somewhere visible, so he won't forget to give it back. Here, the conscious process seems to end. But the unconscious process is just beginning. The object has become an anchor dropped into the depths of his psyche. Stage 2: Acclimation. Integration into his personal space. A day or 2 goes by. He walks past the item. His brain, following the principle of conserving energy, stops seeing it as something foreign and starts to perceive it as part of the environment. The book sits on the shelf among his own books. The pen rests in the pencil cup next to his other pens. The item blends in, becoming part of his world. It stops being her item and becomes part of his space. This is a quiet, subtle annexation of territory on a symbolic level. Stage 3: Activation. The symbol starts to speak. One evening, maybe he feels tired after a long day or a bit lonely. The house is quiet. His thoughts drift aimlessly. His eyes happen to land on your item, and in that moment, when he's feeling vulnerable and open, it stops being silent. It starts to speak. It doesn't remind him of your face or your figure. It reminds him of what it felt like to be with you, the deep sense of calm, the intellectual spark of your conversations, the harmony and order you brought to his little bit of chaos. He suddenly remembers your laughter vividly, the warm tone of your voice, the depth in your eyes. The item has become a trigger, a key that unlocks the door to his emotional memory. Stage 4: Idealization. The awakening of the anima, ***. As we've discussed, this is when his anima, his inner feminine side, comes into play. This is the most crucial stage. He looks at the item and starts to unconsciously project onto you the qualities that he or his world might be missing. If his life is all about rational calculation, your book on art becomes, for him, a symbol of creativity, sensuality, and freedom. If his work is filled with constant conflict, your elegant, peaceful item becomes a symbol of tranquility and harmony for him. He starts to idealize not so much you as a real person with flaws, but the world you represent. He doesn't miss you, but rather the sense of wholeness he experienced with you. This is a much deeper and more powerful feeling than simple physical attraction. He's falling in love not with you, but with his own soul, which you have revealed to him. Stage 5: Desire. The need for reconnection, ****. The cumulative effect leads to the final, decisive stage. He realizes that he doesn't just want to return the item to you. That just becomes a formal excuse. What he really wants is to bring back into his life the state that this item represents. He wants to experience your world again, to be in the presence of your unique energy once more. He picks up the phone to text or call you, but now his motivation is completely different. He's not calling out of politeness, like, you forgot your thing, but because of a deep, subconscious desire to be close to you again, to feel that way again, calm, strong, inspired. He doesn't want to give you back the object. He wants access to what lies behind it, your aura, your personality, your completeness. It's not just that he misses you. He's been completely captivated, and he did it all on his own, without the slightest bit of pressure from you. You simply left a beautiful, mysterious seashell on his shore. And when he held it up to his ear, he heard the sound of your ocean. At the end of this long, deep conversation, we come to the main paradoxical and truly liberating conclusion that changes everything. Asterisk. The most important thing you leave behind in his space isn't an object. It's you, your aftertaste, the emotional and energetic trace that lingers in the air, in his memory, in the atmosphere of his home after you've left. Asterisk. The small object we've talked about in such detail is just a catalyst, an anchor for that aftertaste. If your visit leaves behind a feeling of anxiety, emptiness, tension, or awkwardness, then no object, no matter how beautiful or expensive, can save the situation. It will only amplify that negative feeling, becoming a silent witness to a failed encounter. But if, after you leave, his home is filled with an atmosphere of harmony, lightness, and intellectual and spiritual richness, if the air feels fresher and his thoughts clearer, then any object you leave behind, no matter how insignificant, will become a magical artifact. So, the real goal isn't to learn how to leave things behind the right way. The true goal is to become the kind of woman whose presence is a gift in itself, to become someone whose inner world is so rich, harmonious, and fascinating that its echoes linger in a space long after you've gone. The way to achieve this is through what Carl Jung tirelessly spoke about, the process of individuation. By having the courage to face your shadow, your fears, your neediness, your dependency, by nurturing your inner world, your soul, by discovering yourself in your unbreakable wholeness. Stop thinking about how to make him miss you. Start building a life that you would miss if you were pulled away from it, even for a moment. Fill yourself to the brim with meaning, joy, creativity, and knowledge. Become that ocean, deep, mysterious, and beautiful, and then you won't need to deliberately leave seashells on other people's shores. They will wash up on their own, naturally and effortlessly, like a gift from the tide. And anyone who finds such a shell and dares to put it to their ear will never be able to forget the sound of your inner sea. Because you are not pretending to be attractive. You are the attraction. You are not trying to leave a trace. You are the trace that cannot be erased. If this thought has resonated with your soul, if you feel that there is something more behind these words than just advice, share this video. Let there be more women in the world who don't try to cling, but who simply exist, and that turns out to be more than enough.